revolving around minorities. And what I'll say in the hindsight, so most people say, hey, man, we got stuff right now of Trump saying stuff like, the insensitive things towards minority in 2020. I think how do you think he's dealt with the military? Because, a lot of people feel like some of the things he said about, what's his name, McCain wasn't right.
Oh, McCain is a Republican.
Okay, all right, okay.
I think he was a traitor.
Okay, all right, okay.
I think that's
where's our conspiracy music? Here, turn it on. Oh, yeah, we're cooking up, buddy. All right, my people love this. Hey, shout out to India. India loves this. India out there, the nation of India. For some reason, I got foreigners who love this part. They love when we talk space.
Let's talk about minorities in India. Speaking of, Trump was one of the first presidents to ever recognize the new Indian holiday, not a new Indian holiday, an old Indian holiday that's been celebrated for years and years in India. Mm-hmm. He was one of the first presidents to recognize that holiday and actually have a ceremony for them just this past week. Mm-hmm. So I do think that he has recognized them. He's brought peace in Israel, which is something that no president that make our justice system more fair, and it helps former inmates successfully return to society. The reason why this helps is because it addresses the inequities in sentencing laws that disproportionately harmed Black Americans and reformed mandatory minimums that created unfair outcomes. Also, with this new prison reform, he has freed more Black people than any other president ever has. In the past. He worked with Kim Kardashian on this.
Yeah,
You'll see it on the show. So I think that he did. I think he's trying. Also, back to what I was saying, about having a past. I'm a Christian. You're a Christian.
Yes.
Who does God use in the Bible?
Jesus.
God uses people who were terrible people.
Okay.
He used prostitutes.
Yeah.
He used people who killed their husbands or killed their wives because they were cheating. He used people every day that were doing bad things, and he turned their lives around. And he used these people, and we glorify these people now. We idolize them. We're like, oh, look what John the Baptist did. Look what Ruth did. Look what, all these people in the Bible, they were not good people. They all sinned. They all had a past. And then they became prophets, and they became these awesome, wonderful people. He used them to create stories and to create history. So when somebody has a past, I can't completely disregard them. Okay. As long as they're working hard to do better in the future.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think there's something need to be done by us, the politicians all over? Because it seems like any of them we look up, we always finding some dirt. And it feels like we really don't have a regular person like us in office half the time.
So that's why I like Trump. You know how I just said I'm not a Republican?
Okay.
I'm not a Democrat.
Okay.
It's because Republicans can be bought. Democrats can be bought. These people are supposed to only be making X amount of dollars in office, but yet they're making millions. How are they making these millions? Biden was making millions. How? Why? China.
Okay.
His deals with China.
All right.
And
okay.
They're supposed to, the Clintons, the Clinton Foundation, they got out of their taxes too. People don't want to talk about it. They got out of their taxes too. Trump may have only paid $700 in taxes. Well, the Clintons did even better because they donated their money to the Clinton Foundation, which is their own foundation. As long as you're donating money to these foundations, you're getting tax breaks.
Okay.
But they were donating to their own foundation.
Well, do you worry? I'll say this in the flip side. A lot of people are worried about Trump and his connection with Russia and think that Russia got something over his head. Now, do you think there's any merit to that? Because I feel like Trump goes hard on everyone but Putin.
Okay.
I don't know what Putin has. I don't know if he got some dirty pictures of him. I don't know what's going on.
I agree.
It seems like, for whatever reason, he doesn't want to attack Putin. Because, we got to remember the FBI came out and said, yeah, Putin messed with the election. And Trump said, well, no, I talked to Putin myself and he told me he didn't do it, so I believe him over y'all.
Putin gave his son gifts. Putin gave his Barron gifts. And I've talked to Michael about this. Okay. And I'm like, all right, what's the connection?
Michael's her husband, for the record, people. Michael's her husband. Give y'all content. Okay, all right.
What is the connection? Why? Why Russia? Why are we friends with Russia all of a sudden? But then, it makes you think, are they even our enemy? I believe China's our enemy. Okay. They've always wanted to take us down. Russia, I believe this is one of those keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer situations. Number one. Number two, Russia's one of the only countries left, I'm pretty sure, that has not involved in this federal banking system with the Rothschild family.
Okay.
So I don't believe that they're truly an enemy. I think we are made to believe they're an enemy.
Okay.
Because that's what the Rothschild family, if you don't know what they are the people who own our federal banking system.
Yes.
They're the people who own our Federal Reserve. They own us.
Now, if
this family.
People at home, that's the people that Nick Cannon was talking about before he got canceled. He was talking about how they are the people who's really in control and who we got to worry about, the banking system and what they're doing with our governments and things like that. So this is some real talk right here.
They own us.
They own us.
If you want to, like, street talk, they own us.
They own us. And
they own the world except for Russia.
Except for Russia.
Except for... Do you remember when we went to... Korea.
Okay.
Yes, in North Korea.
Okay.
So that's another thing. Are we really the enemy of North Korea? Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, well, you know, that baby, what is it, Kim Jong? What's his name? Yeah, he's crazy.
At the same time, no other president in the past has made peace with Russia and North Korea.
Virgin.
So I think that this is, like, monumental.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not coming after us for once.
Now, all right, I get that. Now... what you say was fair, because a lot of people kind of demonize Obama for kind of doing it with the Middle East and being friendly with them and like that. Do you think that was fair for people to kind of demonize him for that, but say, hey, Trump is kind of pulling in the enemies to be friends? Do you think we should have kind of gave Obama a little bit more leniency with, not to bring him up, but just to compare the facts of, you know, he was bringing in some people that we really wasn't that tight with, and, you know, it was kind of...
Russia and North Korea have not had war with us lately.
Okay. Very true.
So... I don't see them as a threat.
Okay, all right.
The Middle East we have been in war with.
Very true, very true.
ISIS is an organization...
I'm scared of ISIS.
Sorry, guys. My producer's here. He hates politics. I still, to this day, don't know who he votes for. He's an old school white man, you know. He just doesn't talk politics, though. You don't know nothing. I love it. I love it. I admire it because he avoids a lot of headaches. Shout out. Okay. All right. He wants to talk sports now.
So with the Middle East, you know, we've been at war with the Middle East. But, you know, ultimately, let's look at what happened. Let's break it down. 9/11. You can believe what you want. Conspiracy theory or not conspiracy theory.
Okay.
You can believe that Bush bombed us. Which is my opinion.
Okay, all right.
I think that Bush bombed us.
That's where I was at with that, yes.
Okay, I think Bush sabotaged our country. That's treason right there, the ultimate treason. His father, when he was buried with a wrinkled flag.
Okay.
You only get buried with a wrinkled flag. John McCain, wrinkled flag, if you committed treason. But what are they not telling us? Why are they not telling us what happened?
Exactly is what? So, speaking of treason, and go back to Trump, are you worried? If he is wrong about this voter fraud thing, are you worried about... because people are saying he's threatening our democracy, and they're claiming it as a national security issue if he's really wrong. Like, if this is not true, this is some scary crap, because what you're going to have is your regular American going to say, well, I don't want to believe in none of this stuff anymore. And that's what they're worried about the most. And you know how he's not conceding at all, he's not trying to be friendly about... are you worried about... do you think that he's threatening democracy, or you think that...
I think ultimately...
he better be right, basically, with this, because if he's wrong... it's going to be a bad backlash.
I think Trump's whole mission this whole time, and it's so deep. Ultimately, it's a spiritual warfare, what we're going through.
Okay.
You have Satan is still alive today.
Definitely.
You know, I'm a Christian. I'm going to speak, you know, biblical facts too. Satan is still alive today. People think just because he was written in the Bible back then that he doesn't live today and he doesn't exist today. Dude, Satan totally exists today. He is a total threat to us. Do I believe that Donald J. Trump is a 100% Christian and that he's here to do the right things and to bring the light? Not necessarily.
Okay.
But do I think that the Lord is trying to use somebody who has balls?
Okay.
At this point? Yes. Is he a threat to our country? No, because I think he has taken... How many people hate him now? How much has the media scrutinized him? And he's still fighting. I think ultimately he is doing what he can for this country.
Well, I think there's something to say, you know, to the people of the mindset. You know, I ain't gonna lie, I was one of the ones that's like, I can't stand him, you know, racist, all this stuff. But there's something to say that it's 68 million people that voted for him, 70 million people. So it's a lot of people that feel good things about him, you know, so it can't be 70 million racist people out here. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's obviously good people that believe in him. And what I think what we need to do is somehow build some type of bridge to figure out this guy and get some middle ground on Trump to where, you know, it's not always an argumentative point when his name is brought up.
Well, I think ultimately that takes you opening your mind and looking into the facts and ignoring mainstream media. One of the things I did was I took Google off my phone. I used something called DuckDuckGo. You guys can look it up. It's a non-biased search engine.
Okay.
I can search one thing in Google and search the exact same thing in DuckDuckGo and get completely different results.
Okay.
I searched Biden's campaign manager getting arrested. Google showed me articles about the day he was anointed, or not anointed, the day he was appointed.
Appointed, yeah, I got you. Okay,
Google
yeah.
showed me that.
Then
Go to DuckDuckGo and it shows me the actual articles of, hey, he was arrested. Here's the affidavit. Here's the court documents.
Avoiding censored news, basically, what you're doing by skipping Google.
Censored news.
Okay.
Because the media is owned by that elite group that I was telling you about. They are owned by the Rothschild family. They're owned by George Soros. Yeah. So what is their goal? Their goal is divide and conquer. If we are a divided nation, we are easy to take over.
Very true.
We're easy. We're weak.
That's what we worry about. We think this is the guy. We think it is dividing us. That's what a lot of people are worried about. Like,
that's what the media has made him look like he's doing.
Okay. Now I say this.
Completely.
I think there are some times where he has put his foot in his mouth. I think like the Charlottesville thing, where he says good people on both sides. I think that's one of them times where he probably would have been better off not saying that, because if you look it up, I think it was mainly white people there, white people fighting racism and stuff like that, and fighting for the some was fighting for the civil with the statues, the monuments, and all that. So it was basically white on white up there. It was not too many black people involved, but people got mad because he was like, well, it was good people on both sides. Some people was like, no, the other side was pure racist people. Do you think that he's right for saying that, or do you think that the media twisted it up and it wasn't pure racist people on that side? It wasn't. But we did have a guy kill somebody, though. That's the one thing about it. We did have a guy take a car and plow through people.
Yeah,
do you think times like that Trump should probably think before he speaks? You know what I'm saying?
You
know what I mean?
Like I said earlier, he's one of those people.
Because those are like small things.
He's not a politician. Yeah. That's the thing. He's a businessman, and he's used to saying, just flying off the handle and saying whatever, and business meetings, and because that in business world is what gets you somewhere. Okay. Being the one who can trump everything that you're saying. Running our country, no. Keep your mouth shut when it comes to things like that, especially if you can't say nothing nice. Yeah. It's.
I can't get off. Are you worried? What did you think about? I can't get away from this.
Worried about our country and the democracy?
No, the question I won't ask about the election, the debate night, the stand by comment. What did you think about that towards the Proud Boys? Because a lot of people was like, "Oh, what is that? Was that a command?" Was that people looked at it like
I think he totally tripped up his words. I don't think he realized what he was saying. It's a lot of pressure. You got the whole entire nation there. You got your competition right there. I think he tripped up on his words because Kayleigh McEnany brought out in her press conference videos where it's like, let me actually show you where he has said that these are bad people. Let me actually show you, and she did, and the news cut it out. The news cut it out. You had to be watching live from somewhere to actually get that part of the press. The press cut it out because the press doesn't want him to be on camera saying these are bad people. But he did. He did say that. He's like, these are terrible people. And this was before the debate. Because the debate, he was like, we've never heard you say it. Why don't you just say it? But he has. He's said it multiple times. And that's one of the things the media, once again, wants to divide us.
Speaking of tripping up, now election night. I got to scratch my head on this, y'all. Did you notice he said at one point, stop the counting. Another point he said, keep the counting going. Because I think what people was saying was like, hold on. Trump is upset, but he's saying stop the counting in Arizona when he's up. But he's saying keep the counting going in other states where he's down. Do you think he was getting tripped up? Or do you think like, hey, because that's where I came from. I was like, okay, how can I take him seriously when he's saying two different things at one time? And you had people marching saying keep it going, and some saying stop the counting. What do you say about that confusion on election night? Because some people I think they said that Pence wanted him not to say anything that night. Yeah. From what I read, Pence wanted him to just say keep the counting vote, keep going. Don't say you won, because he came I think at 1 a.m. and said we won this race. He came out at 1 a.m. that night and said we won on the first night.
Yeah. And
they said that Pence he was back there for a while with Pence and the rest of the people trying to tell him, hey Trump, don't jump off that bridge.
Yeah.
So do you think, because honestly, you look at somebody like Pence, and it kind of seems like sometimes he kind of little more composed. You know what I mean?
Pence is a politician, though.
Okay, all right,
He went to law school. He's very smart. He's very educated. He came from a very wealthy family. He's very well spoken.
Okay.
Most politicians are very well spoken. That's part of their schooling.
All right, that's
when
true.
They go to law school, they learn how to speak and compose themselves. Versus Trump, who doesn't. But yeah, when he was saying, I think, in my opinion, when he was saying stop the voting, he's like, there's fraud going on. Because at 4 a.m., why did 140,000 votes 100% for Biden happen?
Okay.